Spring is here, and as an April baby, I feel totally in my element. Join me today for a cozy kitchen refresh, some seasonal baking, and of course, plenty of vibrant and veggie-packed meals. This video is sponsored by Thrive Market. Lately, it's been warming up enough to have iced drinks on some mornings, and strawberry matcha has been one of my favorites. So I finally invested in a matcha bowl. I think it's so cute, and I usually measure about 2 to 3 grams of matcha per drink. I whisk it together with a few tablespoons of water at 165 degrees until there's a fine foam. I made a homemade puree with frozen strawberries, vanilla bean paste, sugar, and a pinch of salt. And I've been making strawberry lattes like every day, sometimes matcha, sometimes espresso, and the strawberry is just super fresh, and it really puts me in that springtime mood. Now with a little caffeine in my system, I started prepping some vegan egg bites for this week's breakfast. We always tend to eat through these really quickly, so I got 2 cartons of Just Egg this time. This should make about 24 of the egg bites. I'm gonna bake them in these silicone muffin liners. The Just Egg tends to stick pretty badly to my metal muffin tins no matter how much I grease them, but they pop really nicely out of these, so it just makes my life easier. There's less cleanup. I'm making 2 kinds, one with onions, veggie ham, and cheddar, and one with mushrooms, spinach, and Violife provolone. And then I just gave the onions, mushrooms, and spinach a little saute ahead of time, just to cook off some extra moisture. These egg cups get baked at 350 degrees for about 20 minutes or until they're fully set. And they make such an easy and tasty breakfast with some toast or rice. Next up, I'm gonna make some salad jars, so I have a healthy lunch option this week, and I'm gonna be making the Jennifer Aniston salad. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, there was this viral rumor that this is a salad that Jennifer ate every day for lunch on the set of Friends. I saw an interview with her where she said this wasn't true, and I'm not sure how a rumor like that even gets started, but luckily the salad does happen to be worth the hype, and I've been making it quite often. This salad is kind of reminiscent of tabbouleh because it's got a ton of chopped fresh herbs. We've got mint and parsley, and it's also got chopped cucumber and cooked grains. The original recipe uses bulgur wheat, but I prefer quinoa, and the key to quinoa that is super fluffy and not gummy is to rinse it very thoroughly and to not use too much water when cooking. The dressing is really simple. It calls for fresh lemon juice, Dijon mustard, a bit of maple syrup, extra virgin olive oil, and some salt and pepper. Now I take my jars, and at the bottom I'm adding some of that dressing first, then layering in chickpeas, which help make the salad super filling. Then I'm adding in my cooked quinoa, which I have fluffed up and tossed with the fresh mint and parsley. Then some roasted pistachios, which also boosts the protein. The great thing about salad jars is you can layer more delicate ingredients near the top to keep them fresh. So I'm adding my cucumber and some plant-based feta last to the jars to keep them away from the dressing. And then you just shake up the jar and pop everything into a bowl to enjoy. These are so great to have on hand, and I love how refreshing this salad is with the fresh cucumber and mint, while still being really satisfying thanks to the chickpeas, quinoa, and nuts. So I just got my latest order from Thrive Market, and they are today's cozy video sponsor, so let me show you what I picked up this time. If you're unfamiliar, they are an online membership-based market with healthy, sustainable, and affordable products. So I always order my pantry staples, especially my baking supplies from Thrive Market, because it just simplifies my life so much to have all of my most used ingredients delivered straight to my door. Thrive Market also has an auto ship option, so you can make sure you never run out of your essentials. I just hate feeling like I have to constantly go to the grocery store, especially given how expensive things are right now. Thrive Market saves me so much time and money. They make it so easy to find exactly what I need. You can filter their entire catalog by your lifestyle and your diet, whether you're plant-based, keto, gluten-free, paleo. And that's one of the reasons I buy almost all of my snacks from Thrive Market. Their vegan snack selection is insane. They have all of my favorite things that are hard to find near me, and they're always way more affordable than shopping at my local stores. And if you're trying to make better choices for yourself or your family, Thrive Thrive Market makes it really easy. They're very selective about the brands and ingredients they offer. You don't have to worry about questionable ingredients and additives. You can just shop with that peace of mind. Yearly membership is $60, which I usually make back easily in savings within like the first 2 or 3 orders. And shipping is really fast and it's free over $49. And another thing is you don't have to worry about extra fees and tipping, which definitely adds up with other services. If you want to give Thrive Market a try, go ahead and visit my link, thrivemarket.com/Sarah's Vegan Kitchen. And right now you can get 30% off your first order plus a free gift worth up to $60, which is an amazing deal. I hope you love them as much as I do. I'll have that information in my description box. Check it out. Hey guys, it's been a couple of hours. I am about to wrap up making dinner. I'm making Mediterranean bowls tonight. So we've got a little Greek salad, some meatballs. Earlier I made tzatziki and homemade pita bread. So I just need to make the meatballs now. So let's rewind really quickly to the tzatziki and the pita bread. You might be surprised, but this is actually a great bread to make for beginners because it requires just a few ingredients. Earlier, I combined water, yeast, flour, salt, and olive oil into a dough, kneaded it until smooth, and then set it aside to rise until it was doubled in volume. Once risen, the dough is then divided, rolled into balls, and then rolled out into discs. These can be cooked on the stove on a hot cast iron pan or in the oven, either directly on the oven racks or on a pizza stone like I'm doing here. They only need to cook for a few minutes until they're nice and puffy. It's just so fun to make this dough from scratch, to watch it puff up in the oven, and it's so much more delicious and fresher than the mass-produced stuff you'll get at the supermarket. So this is a recipe that I highly recommend to bread bakers of all skill levels. For the tzatziki, I combined my favorite plant-based yogurt from Forager with some grated cucumber. I just salted it and squeezed out the extra moisture first. Then some fresh dill, fresh mint, minced garlic, a couple glugs of really good extra virgin olive oil, little splash of vinegar, salt, and pepper. This tastes best if it has some time to sit, which is why I made it in advance. So with all those components prepped, I'm now throwing together my Greek meatballs. We have our plant-based ground, grated onion and garlic, fresh herbs and some dried herbs and spices, some panko breadcrumbs, a splash of plant milk just to moisten those breadcrumbs, and then a nice generous pinch of salt and pepper to taste. These meatballs can be seared in a pan like I'm doing here, or you can bake them. These healthy Snickers dates have been my recent snack obsession. Every time I make them, I have to keep making a bigger and bigger batch because we've been going through them so fast. Luckily, they're really easy to make. You just take a few medjool dates, and the softer and fresher they are, the better. Cut a slit from top to bottom and then remove the seeds to create a nice little pocket. Into that pocket, we're going to either spoon or pipe some peanut butter or almond butter and add a few roasted peanuts to each. Pop those in the freezer for about 15 to 20 minutes so the nut butter firms up and isn't runny, and then we're going to dip them in melted chocolate. Medjool dates on their own are very sweet, so I like to use a dark chocolate to balance everything out. And adding a little bit of coconut oil to the chocolate helps keep it melted longer, so it's easier to work with. You have longer time to dip them. I also like to finish them with a pinch of flaky sea salt, again to round out the sweetness. Pop these back in the freezer for another 15 to 20 minutes till the chocolate hardens. I usually crave one or two as an afternoon pick-me-up, and they're also a great pre-workout snack if you need a boost of energy. Especially because it had been snowing earlier that day, it just felt right to make a really cozy meal in my freshly cleaned kitchen. I had this vision of a super vibrant green version of minestrone, so I thinly sliced 2 leeks and I gave them a thorough rinsing. I also diced up some green beans into very small pieces. I wanted everything in the soup to be a similar size and shape. I also diced up celery and parsnip, thinly sliced some kale, cut up a gold potato in small cubes, and I also had some frozen peas. I had wanted to add some asparagus to this soup too, but my store was all out. It's rare that I cook with leeks, but they definitely added something special to this dish. Pretty often I'll use chicken-style vegetable bouillon cubes in my soups, but for this one, I wanted to keep the flavor really clean, so I just used regular vegetable broth, and I boosted the savory element by whisking in a few tablespoons of white miso paste at the end. You can cook the pasta directly in the soup, but I didn't want my leftovers to be soggy, so I just boiled mine separately. I really wanted to garnish this soup with some kind of vibrant green herb oil, maybe some homemade basil oil or a swirl of pesto, just to boost that green color. And I didn't have time to make either on this day, but I'm going to absolutely make the soup again, and I will make the herb oil next time. The soup was really simple yet delicious. I really felt like I was nourishing myself with all the fresh vegetables, and that is one of my favorite types of cooking to do. I love baking in the springtime, and lately I've been trying to perfect my recipe for a vegan iced lemon loaf. My first step is always to zest 3 large lemons and to rub the zest into the sugar with my hands to release the oils. This lemon sugar mixture is so fragrant, it's one of the best smells in the world, it fills the entire house. I've tested so many variations of this recipe, and I'm pleased that one of the simplest versions ended up being my favorite. I'm honestly quite proud of the result given how basic the ingredients are. I don't use any expensive specialty vegan ingredients. As an early birthday present, I had gotten myself this decorative loaf pan with florals on it. This was my first time using it, and I was a little bit nervous about whether the loaf would release cleanly. And the pan itself ended up being wonderfully nonstick, but me flipping it out of the pan was a brief comedy of errors.
Oh my god.
It's a runaway loaf.
Oh. It came out.
Oh my god. That was really funny.
Are you gonna leave it in?
I have to. Anyway, I was happy with how the loaf pan performed, but I do think I can get the design to come out cleaner if I use a baking spray that contains flour. That said, this lemon loaf is one of my favorite bakes in recent memory. It reminds me of like an old-fashioned donut, but with lemon flavor. It's really good. Eric and I love sushi, but it really is just too expensive to be ordering from a restaurant all the time. Especially since we always just get vegetable rolls, I feel like the markup on those is kind of crazy. So usually we will reserve restaurant sushi for little date nights, but otherwise we'll just make sushi bowls at home. The star of the show is our spicy tofu crab salad. This is what I make whenever I'm craving California roll vibes, and I've made this so many times on the channel, but in case you missed it, it's super easy. We take a block of super firm, high-protein tofu and just use a cheese grater to shred it up. Then we add veganaise, sriracha, soy sauce, rice vinegar, and just a dash of toasted sesame oil to a bowl. Along with scallions and just a little bit of shredded carrot. This is mostly for color, but it also adds a little bit of sweetness that's nice. Just mix that up with the tofu, and this is best if it has a chance to marinate for about an hour or two. So sometimes we'll roll this up into sushi, but more often we'll just be lazy and we'll make bowls with rice and fresh veggies. And then we'll either cut up nori sheets or we'll eat them with these little roasted nori snacks. I'll just scoop a little bit of everything onto the nori for the perfect bite, and it's so good. And with that, my friends, we have reached the end of this video. Thank you so much for hanging out today, and remember to check out my link for 30% off your first Thrive Market order plus a free gift. Hopefully this video helps you get into the spring spirit, and I'll see you again very soon because it's now officially tourist season and a birthday vlog is definitely in order. Love you all so much, and take care.